I posted on my Instagram. It's like over 150,000 views in just a couple days, and it's just a short. It's only like a minute and a half, but it's doing really well. So I feel like that's going to be a topic that I want to do more Q&As and like AMAs, just so that people feel like they learned a lot about it. It is my favorite investing account, hands down. Like, I love the Roth IRA. I think it's such a simple concept. It's a small amount of money, relatively speaking, that is able to grow tax free and is really powerful. So if you haven't watched any of the Roth IRA content that I have, check out my Instagram, because I put out some reels, and I also have a live right here on YouTube, or on my YouTube, where you could watch the full conversation where I was answering questions, and a lot of it was focused on Roth IRA, which led to a lot of questions about Roth IRAs. So I'll probably do like 2 or 3 lives where I'm just talking about like pop quiz questions around Roth IRAs, questions that I've gotten in the comment section of a couple of videos, and then also some quiz questions that I would ask if you were taking my Roth IRA class and I wanted to see if you mastered Roth IRAs and understand them. I would ask you these quiz questions, so that way you know like fun facts about it, and also that you really do understand all the rules. So let's jump in. I have a couple questions about Roth IRAs that I just like basically saved from the comments so I could make sure to answer them. And a few of them were about some of the things that we talked about in another video, which I'll just like reference. But if I haven't answered the question yet, I'll just go a little bit deeper. And then if you guys have questions as you're watching the live, just put them in the chat and I'll try and answer as many as I can. It is a little bit later, so I'm not going to be on for like a really long time. I'm going to take as many as I can. I'm already feeling tired because it's super late. I flew back from Houston today, and just a lot of travel this week. But I'm going to jump in. The first question that I got was on Instagram under the video around Roth IRAs. Somebody asked about taxes, but wouldn't you have to pay taxes too after all of that money is earned? So this is really a good question, because I think the way it's phrased, it could either be talking about the income that you made, or it could be talking about the gains that you made on your contributions to your Roth IRA. So I just want to make it super clear. The Roth IRA has amazing tax advantages, right? There's only one account out there that I think you can invest in that is better than the Roth IRA, and that's the health savings account, which you need a high deductible health insurance plan in order to even qualify for a HSA account, a health savings account. So most people, or a lot of people, probably can't even really get a health savings account if their health insurance plan doesn't allow them to qualify. So the only reason I think the health savings account is better is because it's triple tax benefit, right? You can put the money in, get a tax benefit when you do that. The growth is tax free. And not only that, but when you take the money out, if you use it for medical purposes, it also doesn't get taxed or penalized. And if you wait until after 65 years old and you never use the money in the health savings account, then it just becomes like another Roth IRA. It literally just becomes more money for you in retirement. You don't have to use it for medical purposes after 65 years old. So it's basically like extra money that you can use after 65 years old, and you can start using your Roth IRA early, so that you know, oh, if you have a health savings account and you fill it up with money and invest that money, then you can kind of not worry about the Roth IRA having to last you a super long time, or the money in there having to last a super long time, because you already know that you have a little bit of backup money in a health savings account. So I really like the health savings account. I think it's the triple tax advantages are amazing, but not everybody could just go and open one. Whereas with the Roth IRA, as long as you have earned income, you can open one. Now, somebody did comment under a post that I put on Instagram today, and they said, well, technically you could also open one if you don't have any income, if you're married to somebody who does have income. That is true. That is the one exception to the Roth IRA rule about where you have to have earned income in order to put money into the Roth IRA. The one exception is the spousal IRA, which your spouse who is making money can, or earning income, can open it for you and fund it for you with their earned income, and it's still your IRA. You still have full right to that account. It's not your spouse's account, even though they're the ones who opened it and put money in it, because it's for their spouse. It's called a spousal IRA. That's the only Roth IRA where you don't have to have earned income, but you have to be married. Your spouse has to make earned income and fund it for you, and you have to file your taxes as married filing jointly. If you file your taxes as separately, even if you're married, it doesn't work. You can't do this. So you have to like check all 3 boxes. You have to be married to someone and you are not earning income. your spouse has to be earning income and opening the account and putting money in it for you. And you have to make sure that you're filing taxes, married filing jointly. So if there's anybody out there who's married and not working right now, and you were thinking, oh man, I'm not working, so I can't do it. Well, check to see if you qualify for a spousal IRA, because you can still tuck away $7,000 a year if you're under 50, $8,000 a year if you're over 50 every year, even if you don't have earned income, as long as your spouse does and you file married filing jointly. I know that's a lot, but that's that. Okay, so let me do a couple more questions about the IRA and then we'll take questions from the chat. So this one says, wouldn't you have to pay taxes after the money is earned? So when you put money into your Roth IRA, it's already been taxed, right? So say, for example, you work at, Pizza Hut, or you work at Dunkin' Donuts, right? When you get your paycheck, you can look at the pay stub and see all the deductions. They took out taxes from your paycheck. And those taxes were sent to the IRS by the accounting or the HR people, the payroll people at your job. So that money has already been taken from your earned income and given to the IRS for taxes. So you don't have to pay taxes again on that income, on that paycheck, because it was already taxed. Now, you can take that money that you just made from your paycheck that is already taxed and deposit it, contribute it into a Roth IRA account. Then once that money goes into the account, you can use it to buy some funds, to buy some investments, let it grow and grow and grow and grow. And when it grows, any profits or gains that you make in there, usually in another investment, in any other investment account that's not a Roth IRA or that's not tax advantaged, you would have to pay taxes when you take the money out, because you have to pay capital gains taxes on the profit, but not with a Roth IRA. It is so special. It's like a freaking magical account that allows you to put after tax money in that has already been taxed. So it's not going to be taxed again ever. And on top of that, your profits and your gains won't be charged any capital gains tax either. So you're basically taking full advantage of the tax benefits here in multiple different ways. And as long as you follow the rules for spending the money in the account, you're going to be good. You don't have to worry about penalties or taxes as long as you follow all the rules of the account, which is you can only take out money you contributed anytime without questions asked and no penalties or taxes. If you take out profits on top of money that you contributed, then if it's before 59 and a half, you will have to pay your penalties and taxes, or just the penalty, which is 10%. But the thing about that is you have to make sure that when you're putting the money in, you keep track of it. Like, how much are you putting in? Everything above that is obviously profit and gains. So that's going to be important for you to keep track of how much, so you don't take out any money that you didn't put in. And then the other thing about that is there's exceptions. So you want to look at what are the qualified exemptions? Like, what are the things that allow you to break the rule and take out money, even if you're not 59 and a half? So death, disability, paying for college, buying your first house. There's a limit on that, $10,000 for lifetime per account. But you can still add $10,000 to all the contributions, take that amount out and use it to put a down payment on a house. If you've been growing that money for years, it would be a pretty hefty amount. That should be enough to help you put a down payment if you've been investing consistently enough money for many, many, many years. So that's why I always say you got to start with the Roth IRA early. As young as you can, get creative and start earning income. Start putting some of that money into a Roth IRA account, because it has so many perks later in life that you're going to be really glad. You're going to be really excited when you see, oh, I've just been putting money in there and forgetting about it. And now that's a huge opportunity for me to use that money in a tax savvy way. So, and a lot of people tell me, oh my gosh, you are so obsessed with the Roth IRA. Like, you always talking about this dang Roth IRA. Yes, I am, because in my book, I call it the GOAT. It is the GOAT of investment accounts. You don't have to worry about taxes after you already put the money in, and you don't have to worry about capital gains taxes on any profit or gains. Like, that is really unheard of, except for other Roth accounts, like a Roth 401k or your health savings account. Those are the only other accounts where you also get to grow the gains without ever having to pay taxes on those gains. So that is Claire_working0 on Instagram asked me, wouldn't you have to pay taxes too after that is earned? Nope. The short answer is that's the beauty of the Roth IRA account. It allows you to fund and grow your account, fund your account with after-tax dollars so they won't be taxed again. And the growth in your account is tax-free. So now y'all know why I am so obsessed with the Roth IRA. All right. Somebody commented under my video about why I think like teenagers need to have a custodial Roth IRA if they have earned income. And they said, I'm going to need you to break down the process, please. That was Saint Boy with a lot of Y's on Instagram. So, Saint Boy, I'm gonna just say it in a few steps to try to make it as simple as possible, but it is a little more involved. But high level, basically, like the basic steps are: step one is choose a brokerage. The big three are Fidelity, Schwab, and Vanguard. Choose one, and then once you know which one you're gonna go with, go to their website and open an account. When you open the account, it's gonna ask you what type of account do you want to open. You're gonna select Roth IRA. If you are under 18, it's going to have to be a custodial Roth IRA, and you're going to need a chaperone. You're going to need a custodian, an adult to come with you and help you open it with their information and add you as the beneficiary. If you are not under 18, if you're over 18 or older, then you can just continue and open the Roth IRA on your own. Once the account is open, you have to link it to your bank account. That could be a checking account or a savings account, but you have to log in and type in the information from your bank and link that account so you can actually start transferring some of your money from your paycheck or direct deposit that's in your bank account and put that money into the Roth IRA. Once you funded the Roth IRA with money from your linked bank account, the last step is to buy investments with that cash. So you should be prepared with some research of what you want to buy. I really like to buy low cost ETFs and low cost index funds, and they're super diversified and they're very, very cheap. Fidelity actually is the only brokerage right now that I know of that has free index funds. So you could look at, if you open your account with Fidelity, you could just type in Fidelity Zero Funds onto Google search, and boom, you'll see which ones they have that they charge you $0 to own, to have shares of that. So that's amazing. You're really not going to get any cheaper than free. So that's a really good opportunity. Once you invest in funds or stocks or whatever investments you want, you hold that and you just keep adding money. If you set up an automatic contribution, like every Friday, add $10. Every first and 15th of the month, add $25. Just make sure that you set it up to automatically use that money to buy more shares of the funds in your account. So if you have an index funds in there or ETFs, you have to make sure that the money coming in every week, automatically recurring coming in as contributions, is being used to buy more shares of those index funds or ETFs. Because otherwise, what you do is you have the cash coming in, but is just sitting in the account and it didn't get used to buy investments. So just be careful about that. I posted a whole separate clip on Instagram Reels about how the biggest mistake that people make, and it's a YouTube short also, the biggest mistake that people can make is open the Roth IRA, put money in, and then they don't actually go back, use that money to buy investments. So just try to avoid that mistake. But yeah, those are the steps. I know it's general, but it gets a little more specific once you know exactly where you're opening the account, how much money you want to start with, and what index funds or ETFs you want to buy. So those are the kind of questions that if I was you, I would start like writing down like what I think I want to do. And if I'm not sure, like go online and do some research and jot down some funds that you think you might be interested in buying, or that you want to research, and keep it simple. I would not have a list of like, 217 stocks that I want to buy. Like, no, stop. First of all, if you are trying to buy stocks one by one, it's going to take forever. So you might as well just look for a fund, an index fund or an ETF that has all of those stocks or similar grouping of stocks. It just saves you so much time because you only have to click the buy button once and you automatically buy hundreds of stocks at one time instead of having to buy them one by one, buying them one stock at a time. That's just not efficient. So I would say ETFs, index funds, are a great thing to research if you're trying to decide what investments you want to buy inside of your Roth IRA. All right. So that was St. Boyd's question. The last one I got was, can you take money out of your Roth IRA before you're 65? So yeah, you can start taking money out without questions asked at 59 and a half years old. But if you want to take it out before 59 and a half years old, then you have to make sure you're following one of the qualified rules, which the qualified things to take money out for would be like $10,000 towards your first home, college costs, death or disability. There's certain things, and you could literally just do a Google search and say, what are the qualified exemption? What are the qualified examples of things that you could take money out of your Roth IRA for? And then just look at the list. It's probably like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 things on the list that you can use the money for. All right. Those are the questions that I pulled from my reels. Let me go ahead and look at the chat. What's up, everybody who's here live? I see a couple questions came through, so let's get to them. Investment questions. I always watch you in my entrepreneurship class. Oh, that's what's up. I love that. You know, it's funny. I actually had somebody comment on one of my Instagram reels and say, "Wow, I'm graduating college in 2026, and when I was in high school, so that's 3 or 4 years ago now, when they graduated high school, junior and senior year of high school, my teachers used to use your videos from Ms. Be Helpful and also from NGPF and play your videos in my economics and financial literacy classes. And now you popped up on my Instagram feed. And I was like, look at that. Look at that full circle moment. They used to watch me in school, and now it's coming up on their own feed when they're about to graduate college. And I'm about to put them on so they can get the right credit score and also get the right investments and get everything going. Because I wish I had known all of this stuff when I had just graduated college. I was like 22. I didn't know what I was doing. So full circle moment. I'm glad that they found my account again. And if you are younger and you just found my account recently, welcome. Please do not be shy. Ask me questions about any of the videos that I've been posting. Ask questions for future videos if you want me to make a video about something. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Literally no such thing as a stupid question. So ask, because that's the only way that I'm going to know what you're wondering, so I can make videos that are specific to the things that you want to know instead of what I think you want to know. So just, yeah, comment away and ask away. All right, let's see. Questions about investing. How young can you be to open a Roth IRA for a kid? Great question, Andrea. Andrea MV Perez. It doesn't matter the age of the child. The minor does not matter at all what age they are. But the adult custodian of the account, the chaperone, they have to be 18 or older in order to open the account for a minor. So the minor could literally be a baby in diapers, 2 months old, and that baby got booked for a Baby Gap ad campaign. Little booties for newborn babies, or little hats, Gap hats for newborn babies. And so you go to the photo shoot, you do this whole ad campaign for the Gap. The baby is involved in the whole thing. They pay you, I don't know, $7,000 for that. Now that $7,000 gets paid directly to the baby with a checking or savings account that you set up in the baby's name, with the baby's birthday and the baby's social security number and the baby's information. That money that goes into that checking account will then get linked to the custodial Roth IRA opened by the adult in that baby's life. And then you can transfer the $7,000 into the Roth IRA and use it to buy low cost index funds, low cost ETFs. And that's it. The baby keeps living their life. You keep living your life. And if you keep doing that every time the baby earns income, you will see how much that will grow in the market over time. So ideally, the earlier the better, but obviously it's kind of hard to finesse the situation to where your baby is able to make $7,000 every year. Baby modeling, acting, obviously those are the easier ways, but you can also just start a business that uses the baby somehow. So maybe you sell calendars online that use baby photos, and your baby is one of the babies that models for the calendar. Like you can get really creative. A lot of people also have businesses, and they will put their babies in their ads for their business to promote their business. Like, we're a family friendly business. And then the ad is like a picture of a family and the baby's in the ad. It's like, okay, now we're going to pay the baby for their modeling in those ads. So a lot of it is going to be photography, modeling, or being in video, acting, appearing on shows or commercials. Those are going to be the big things for babies. But once they start getting a little older, like 7, 8, 9 years old, at that point, lemonade stand, selling bracelets on Etsy, making soap, making slime, all kinds of things that kids can do that are really crafty. And let me tell you, when children are selling things, people are so much more willing to bust out their wallet and pay for it, because like, oh, it's so cute. Look, this little kid is selling soap that they made at home. Even if the soap stinks, even if the soap doesn't look super pretty, you will see people bust out the wallet to buy the soap because they just want to support this kid. Like, how cute is it that the kid did the effort of making the soap and is like being a little entrepreneur and setting up a little shop to sell soap. So the younger, the better, because you are more likely to attract customers who are going to be like, oh, in awe of how cute you are. And they're probably going to buy products and services from you just because you're little. So if you have little siblings, if you have nieces and nephews, if you have little cousins, or if you have a child yourself or kids, take advantage of their little cuteness while they're still cute, and try to think of something creative that their talents and skills could be used for. Even if you help them make the things that they sell, as long as they're the ones primarily doing a lot of the work and running the business and promoting it, boom, any money that they generate from that, you can put into a Roth IRA. All right, let's see other questions. Doo-doo-doo. I literally learned so much from you over the past few years. I've started a credit repair business. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Credit class, I love that. Honestly, I feel like that's one of the biggest things that it's so hard to like fight against it. But like when you learn so much about a financial topic, you have to like you feel like you have to put everybody on. I'm not shocked. If you started a credit repair business, a lot of people that need help with their credit. But just the fact that when you learn something, you feel not only empowered because like it helped you, but you just feel like you have to put everyone on. Like you want to reach back and like help people. So it is not only transformational for you, but it kind of creates like this little ripple effect where like it starts spreading to all your friends. You want to put your friends on, you want to put your family on, you want to help the community. You start a business online, or you start creating content to help your spread the word and get your stuff out there, get your message out there. So I think that's the beautiful part about it, because you know intimately how life-changing it is to increase your credit, qualify for lower rates, actually get approved for loans, and not have to pay an arm and a leg for things. And that you kind of want that for other people, especially if you love your family, if you love your friends. Why would you want them to be screwed over paying super high fees if you know the cheat code, if you know how to help them boost their credit and then reapply and get a much lower rate, like, or much better monthly payment? Like, that's the kind of stuff where I feel like people are just they can't hold it in anymore. They just really want to help. And you see a lot of that in the financial literacy space and personal finance space. All right. Jalen E. Diane said, any tips on how to choose your major in college? You know what? I got a hot take on this. This is gonna be the last question because I already could feel myself going on, and it's late. So this is the last question I'm gonna take, but I have a hot take on this one. How do you choose your major in college? It doesn't really matter. The only way it matters really hard is if you're going into a specific profession that requires you to start early at that age. For example, if you know you want to be in medical or doctor, you have to do pre-med, so you have to start doing that early on. If you know that you want to, be a lawyer, like you might have to do pre-law, you might have to go into law school. You already know kind of what types of courses you want to start taking. But if you're not really sure that you're going to go into medical or legal or even business, you don't really have to worry too much about what your major is going to be. Because at the end of the day, what really matters is more the soft skills. And you will get the soft skills from being in college if you apply yourself, period. Right? Soft skills are the things that you can't be technically taught. Like they can't be like step one, do this, step two, do that. Right? It's the kind of more creative things like creativity, teamwork, and collaboration, communication skills. Right? Like those are the things that matter the most nowadays, because a lot of the technical and hard skills, like the step one, step two, step three, AI can do that. You could literally just tell AI, step one, do this, step two, do that. But you can't tell AI how to bond with a team and work well as a teammate and collaborate well with others during group projects. Like AI is not going to be very good at that because it's not human. So don't worry too much and put too much pressure on yourself about your college major. Put pressure on yourself to master the soft skills like creativity, communication, collaboration. Those types of skills matter more than you think going into this rough job economy, right? Job market right now. But they'll matter even more in the future when you're trying to compete with AI for jobs, or you're competing with other people who maybe don't have those soft skills, and it gives you an edge. So that's the one thing I'll say. The second thing I'll say is pay attention to the income potential, because that's one mistake that I made. My family was just like, go to college, go to college, go to college. But they never really told me to go to college and choose a major with high income earning potential. So I went to college and I was like, I'm going to just do what I like. I'm going to take art classes. I loved art. I did art in middle school and high school. So I continued to do art in college. I took art classes. I had an art show my senior year. So one of my majors was visual arts. The second major that I did was history of art and architecture. So I did a lot of architectural studies classes and a lot of technical classes for that. A lot of history papers, right? A lot of art history stuff. Then the last major I did was urban studies. So when I took urban studies classes, that's where I really got interested in like, okay, what's going on with urban development and like the crisis in housing and how are cities addressing this, right? Growing up in New York City, that was much more like piquing my interest about making change and community impact. But I did not look at what is the earning potential of somebody with an art history degree, of somebody with a visual arts degree, of somebody with an urban studies degree. I never typed into Google income, like average income or salary for first year out of college with an art history degree. Like I never did that. Matter of fact, I don't think I've done that to this day. Let me quickly go ahead and do that because I feel like that's very important. Um, Average starting salary of a college grad with art history degree. That was me in 2011. Let's see what the AI says, the computer bot says. The average starting salary for a college graduate with an art history degree typically ranges from $38,000 to $48,000 per year. That is according to Career Explorer and Niche. However, this can vary significantly based on things like the specific job role, the experience level you have, the location, zip code where you work, etc. Some graduates may be closer to $30,000. Oh, so it's even lower, not higher. So yeah, if if I knew that, I probably would have, either picked a better complementary major, or I probably would not have majored in that. But I wasn't thinking about the earning potential of my college experience. I was just focusing on what I like, what I enjoy. I really love history. I really love art history. I really love architectural studies. Last year or a couple years ago, we took a trip to, where was I? Oh no, this was last year in August for my birthday. I took a trip to Japan and I literally planned out an architectural tour. And I wanted to go to the neighborhoods where the like most famous architectural buildings are in throughout Japan. Like that stuff, I nerd out about it. But I didn't study like classical architecture. I studied architectural studies, which is more like history of art. And so that really is limiting in terms of how much money you can make. So just don't make that mistake that I made where you just don't pay attention at all to the earning potential of that major. Do a little bit of both. Focus on, what is that you enjoy, but look for a major that isn't going to put you in the bottom, percentage of earners when you graduate. And then at the same time, focus on not so much the classes within your major, but the soft skills that you're learning while you're taking those classes in your major. If they're not really teaching you any soft skills, if there's no teamwork and collaboration, if you never have to use creativity, if you never have to do problem solving, if you never have to do any type of collaboration or teamwork projects, things like that, oral presentations, thesis, if you never have to do anything like that, you're not getting communication skills, presentation skills, verbal, oral skills. Like that's going to be kind of hard for you to present yourself well in a job interview, right? So think about those soft skills that you get from major two and also consider the earning potential. That's what I would say. But at the same time, don't put too much pressure on yourself about it, because when you get into the career, wherever career you end up in, most of the time they don't even care what you majored in. Like they really don't care that much. So at the end of the day, it really only matters if you're going to do business, if you're going to be a lawyer, if you're going to be a doctor. Those things for sure matter. Otherwise, probably you don't have to put all that stress on yourself. All right. That was going to be my last question. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Tomorrow, we're going to continue the Roth IRA quiz time, but I'm going to start answering a bunch of questions that I would quiz you on to see how well you learned about the Roth IRA so far. So I would definitely go back and watch some of my other videos about Roth IRAs if you want to do the quiz time tomorrow. And yeah, if you have other questions about that I haven't answered about Roth IRAs yet, just put them in the comments of any of the videos I've been posting or my community tab on YouTube. Obviously, you could also DM me and just let me know you have a question and I'll try to get to it. But that's all I have.